I'm going to show you how I write thank you in calligraphy in traditional, modern, and flourished styles. I'll even show you some bounce lettering. Thank you is a great phrase to know in calligraphy, to know how to write it, and you could tailor the style that you use to the person that you're thanking. So if you're thanking someone fancy, maybe you use a more fancy style, or if you're thanking your best friend, you could use something that suits their personality. So in this first example, I'm showing you a traditional copperplate-based calligraphy. I did study this style at one point in my life with a pointed pen, but for this example, I'm using a small tipped brush pen. So we have lots of information about copperplate calligraphy on our website, but in this style, I'm using the traditional letter forms. There's lots of rules when it comes to the angle and how the letters look, but this hopefully gives you a good view into what the copperplate traditional calligraphy style looks like. It looks a little bit fancy. So next I'm going to show you how I write thank you in modern calligraphy. Right away I'm using more modern letter forms. They look a bit less formal and less fancy maybe than the traditional style above it. My ovals are a little bit wider and less narrow. I have different entrance strokes for some of my letters, like the letter N starts with a downstroke rather than an overturn. Usually, I think of modern calligraphy as having more, aside from more casual letter forms, they're also a little bit more open and loopy. You can see the loop there in that lowercase o compared to the one above it. So that's one way of writing thank you in a very basic modern calligraphy style. Next up, I'm going to show you modern bounce lettering. In bounce lettering, you can see that certain parts of the letters go below the baseline, or they dip underneath where you would normally finish them. I'm also incorporating some of the open loops of modern calligraphy, some wavy lines like the wave underneath the Y and the T crossbar. Everything is just a little more free-flowing in modern bounce lettering. And lastly, I will show you how I write thank you using flourishes in my calligraphy. You can add flourishes to traditional letter forms or modern letter forms. The flourishes are extensions of the letter that you can add to sort of decorate it, to fill up space. Typically, I recommend planning out where you're going to put the flourishes before you go for it, but you can also just have fun with it like I'm doing here. We have a whole membership dedicated to the topic of flourishing called the Flourish Space because there is so much to talk about. There are so many different ways of flourishing, and so you can definitely check that out. But this is how I would write the word thank you with flourishes. There's lots of great opportunities in this phrase, like the descending loop of the Y is a great place to add a flourish, the ascending loop of the K. Just really good opportunities to fill in some space with some decorative strokes. So here is how I would write the word thank you in different styles of calligraphy.